Did you know that the thing your dog wants most may not be delicious food, long walks, or expensive toys? It sounds hard to believe, but the uncomfortable truth is that most dogs spend their entire lives trying to send one incredibly important message to the person they love most. And the heartbreaking part is that most of us have never truly understood dogs well enough to receive that message, not because we don't care, but because no one has ever shown us what that message actually looks like. In this video, you'll discover 5 psychological codes that will help you better understand your dog's emotions. And be sure to stay until number 4, because it is the most shocking truth of all, a powerful psychological reality that has caused millions of dog owners to completely change the way they treat their 4-legged companions. But the truth is, you're not the only one living with fear. Your dog may be carrying a silent fear every single day because many of us are loving them in the wrong way. Why? Because for years, we've confused love with control. Did you know that what your dog longs for most is not the most premium dog food money can buy, but something incredibly simple? So simple that your first instinct may be to dismiss it. You may find it hard to believe that you've unintentionally spent years interrupting your most loyal friend simply because you never understood their language. Today, drawing on scientific research about canine behavior, we'll uncover the hidden layers of dog psychology. You'll learn how to recognize the signals your dog has been sending all along and how to become par un, the bullet gaze, and the misconception of guilt. Imagine the moment you catch your dog after it has just destroyed one of your favorite belongings. What is the natural reaction of most owners? A hard, unwavering stare, paired with a firm, authoritative tone of voice. You may think you are expressing disappointment in order to teach your dog a lesson, but in canine social language, prolonged direct eye contact is not correction. It is a threat signal. In fact, it is the same type of signal a dominant animal often uses to initiate a confrontation. The core problem is that a dog's nervous system does not process that stare as a message of disappointment. Instead, it processes it as a warning that something dangerous is about to happen. When you see your dog freeze in place, with its body completely still, head lowered, and eyes looking upward toward you, never mistake that for guilt. Research has shown that this is actually appeasement behavior. Using every piece of body language available to them, they are desperately trying to say, "Please do not make this situation worse. I am not a threat. I am trying to make this stop." The truth is this: your dog does not need more attention. Your dog needs more understanding. Showing that you care through anger, frustration, or by projecting human emotions onto your pet only weakens the relationship. Research published in veterinary behavior journals has found that frequent confrontational interactions, even unintentional ones, can significantly increase a dog's baseline anxiety levels. Over time, dogs become less willing to approach their owners voluntarily during everyday situations because they are never completely sure which version of their human is about to appear. Understanding is the key that can completely transform this relationship. Instead of staring to challenge them, redirect their behavior. Move calmly rather than advancing in a threatening way. Use your voice to interrupt unwanted behavior, not your eyes to challenge the animal. The dog you truly want, a companion who feels relaxed, trusts you completely, and genuinely wants to stay close to you, cannot fully exist if part of its mind is always calculating whether your next look will be safe or dangerous. What many owners do not realize is that every time a dog approaches you, it is performing a silent chemical assessment of your current condition. Neuroscience research on companion animals suggests that canine body language and their ability to evaluate bonded humans through scent are far more sophisticated than most people imagine. Part 2. The biological report. Don't interrupt them. This second lesson may sound small, but it is actually one of the most important foundations of communication between humans and dogs. Have you ever been sitting quietly when your dog slowly walks over and begins sniffing your hand or face in complete silence? Most of us have the same instinctive reaction. We immediately reach out to pet them. We assume it is a moment of affection and connection. But the truth is, you may have just interrupted a sentence your dog was trying to finish. Think of this moment as your dog conducting a biological report on you. Through their
Dogs have an
sense of smell,
incredible
they are
sense
not
of
simply
smell.
sniffing.
They can
are
even
gathering
sense our hidden
information.
emotions.
They are analyzing.
It helps them
They are
understand our
checking in with
world.
the person they care about most. While humans rely heavily on words and facial expressions, dogs depend on scent as their primary source of understanding the world around them. To a dog, your scent contains an astonishing amount of information. It can reveal changes in your emotional state, your stress levels, your physical condition, and even subtle shifts in your daily routine. What looks like a simple sniff is actually a sophisticated information gathering process. In that quiet moment, your dog is asking questions. Are you okay? Have you been stressed today? Do you seem different? Is everything safe? The problem is that we often interrupt this process before they have finished collecting the information they need to feel secure. Parfois, when their world collapses without warning. But do you know what is even more painful than interrupting a biological report? It is changing your dog's entire world without giving them any warning at all. Every day, we make major life decisions. We move to a new house. We welcome a new family member. We change jobs. We adopt a different daily routine. For us, these changes come with context, planning, conversations, and time to mentally prepare. But for your dog, the world can suddenly turn upside down overnight. One day, everything is familiar. The next day, nothing feels the same. And the hardest part is that they have no framework to explain what is happening. They cannot ask, "What is going on? Why is everything changing? Will things ever go back to normal? Is this permanent or only temporary?" They simply experience uncertainty. And uncertainty is one of the most stressful experiences a dog can face. Many owners assume that dogs will naturally adapt to any change if given enough time. But that assumption often overlooks what is happening inside the dog's mind. The issue is not simply the change itself. The issue is the confusion surrounding the change. Dogs thrive on predictability. Their nervous systems are constantly searching for patterns that help them understand whether life is safe. When familiar patterns suddenly disappear, anxiety begins to fill the empty space. This is one of the leading contributors to separation-related stress and chronic anxiety in dogs. What appears to be stubborn behavior, clinginess, excessive barking, pacing, or withdrawal, is often a dog desperately trying to make sense of a world that no longer feels predictable. Research conducted by scientists at Stockholm University suggests that dogs experience significantly higher cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, when major disruptions occur suddenly rather than gradually. In other words, abrupt change is not simply uncomfortable. It creates a measurable biological stress response. And that response can leave a deeper emotional impact than par, quatre, the power of no per. This is the most important code of all. The most heartbreaking one. The message your dog has spent an entire lifetime hoping you would finally understand. Did you know that the most important word in your dog's world is not a command? It is a silent no. Your dog possesses an entire vocabulary through body language. But these are words that never make a sound. A subtle head turn when they feel overwhelmed. A quick lip lick that is easy to miss. A sudden yawn that has nothing to do with being tired. These are not random behaviors. They are silent messages. They are some of the most honest expressions of your dog's emotional state. They are your dog trying to tell you, "I am uncomfortable. I need space. I do not feel safe right now. Please listen." The heartbreaking truth is that many of us unintentionally ignore these messages every day. Not because we do not love our dogs, but because we have been taught to see love as constant interaction, constant affection, and constant closeness. In our desire to show love, we sometimes cross the very boundaries our dogs are trying to communicate. A child wraps their arms tightly around a dog whose body has already become stiff with discomfort. A stranger reaches toward a dog's head while every instinct in that dog's body is begging for distance. An owner notices the warning signs but says, "It's okay. He's friendly. She's fine." And the interaction continues. What many people do not realize is that every time a dog's boundaries are ignored, a small piece of trust can be damaged. Your dog trusted you to understand. Your dog trusted you to protect them. And when their signals are dismissed, they learn something painful. They learn that their voice does not matter. From the dog's perspective, communication begins to feel useless. Why keep speaking if nobody is listening? This is where many behavioral problems quietly begin. The growling that seems to come out of nowhere, the sudden snap that surprises the family, the withdrawal and avoidance that appear without explanation. In reality, these par 5, which version of you will show up today? Many of us place enormous pressure on ourselves to become the perfect dog owner. We believe we should always be patient, always energetic, always emotionally available, always doing everything right. But the truth is, your dog does not need perfection. They do not need you to be cheerful every single day. They do not expect you to be free from stress, exhaustion, or difficult moments. What they truly need is something much simpler. They need to be able to predict you. Among all the discoveries in canine psychology, one of the most important is this: dogs feel safest when the people they love are consistent. Research into canine anxiety and owner behavior has repeatedly shown that inconsistency, more than strictness or occasional mistakes, is one of the strongest contributors to chronic stress in companion dogs. Imagine living with someone whose personality changes dramatically from day to day. One day they are affectionate and excited to see you. The next day they seem distant and unavailable. One weekend, they shower you with attention and companionship. The following week, they barely acknowledge your existence. Over time, that unpredictability becomes emotionally exhausting. Now, imagine experiencing that confusion without language, without the ability to ask questions, without the ability to understand why the changes are happening. That is often the reality many dogs face. From a human perspective, these shifts may seem harmless. We know when we are busy. We know when we are tired. We know when work is overwhelming or life becomes stressful. But our dogs do not have access to those explanations. They only experience the outcome. And when the outcome changes constantly, uncertainty begins to grow. For dogs, uncertainty requires vigilance. They become observers. They start final thoughts. The legacy of understanding. Understanding these 5 codes is about far more than becoming a better dog owner. It is about honoring a loyal life that has spent every single day trying to connect with you. A life that has never asked for perfection. A life that has never demanded greatness. A life that has simply hoped to be understood. When you begin to see your dog's behavior differently, something remarkable happens. You stop viewing their actions as problems to correct. You stop interpreting their emotions through a human lens. And little by little, you become something far more meaningful than an owner. You become a place of safety. A place where your dog no longer has to be on guard. A place where they can stop monitoring, stop worrying, and simply be themselves. Because every signal we discuss today points toward the same truth. The stare that was never guilt. The biological report that deserved to be finished. The fear created by sudden change. The silent power of no path. The comfort found in consistency. None of these lessons are really about training. They are about understanding. And when understanding grows, love becomes deeper.